Hey guys, Genie Irish here with Compass, local realtor here in San Diego. We are doing my second part of Let's Talk Loans, so episode 2. I am here with my buddy and preferred lender, David Wright with Finance of America. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Jeannie. How are you today?
I'm good. So we're on day 40 something of COVID shelter in place, hence why we are both in our homes and not in a studio recording. So I appreciate you taking time to talk to me today. One of the reasons I really chose David for today's topic, which is VA, is his experience with VA clients, especially serving here in San Diego. As agents and lenders, our big majority of our business is military and veterans. So I appreciate you taking the time today. Let's dive right in. And so for our subscribers, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, what is a VA loan and who can qualify for it?
So, Jeannie, I just thought I'd give a quick shout out. I am from a military background. My dad's military, and freedom is not free. Gigantic military supporter, and I'm honored to be on here with you and help you out. So just want to say thank you as well. And then as far as jumping right into your VA question, what is the down payment on VA? Actually, it's 0, which is unlike most other loans. Other loans all require down payments unless you're doing government assistance or down payment assistance or your minimum down payment of like 3.5%. The VA loan will let you buy currently during our, unfortunate crisis, which my heart goes out to everyone. We're doing 0 money down up to $1 million on VA.
Wow.
No down payment.
Wow. That's awesome. And so who qualifies for VA?
So to qualify for the VA, you have to be in service. You can also be in the reserves, and you have to meet your entitlement. So it's very important that you pull your certificate of eligibility or you have a qualified lender pull it. You can pull it yourself, but it's easier for the lender to do it and check it for you.
Okay. So someone who maybe did 4 years and got out is not, they're not currently in service, but would they qualify?
They would absolutely qualify. When you get into the military, it typically takes 2 years to get your full VA certificate of eligibility to be able to use the 100% financing. Now that does change if you do serve in certain branches, especially a special ops type branch, or if you serve during wartime duty.
Okay, awesome. And, it sounds too good to be true. I mean, I'm pretty well versed with down payment assistance, and I understand, especially for those type of programs, 0 down can cost you some more in the long run with rates and other things. But is VA really 0 down?
It's really 0 down. Now, is everything for free? Of course not. The VA does charge you some funding fees, which goes of your first time usage, your second time usage, and it depends on. If you're putting down 0%, the funding fee will get smaller if you put down 5%, and it gets even smaller if you put down 10%. But the good news is you don't come up with the funding fee. It actually goes onto the loan. So you don't have to come up with a lot of money. In fact, VA, you can walk in and literally buy a house with $1.
Right on. Okay. So, so you said there's a funding fee, normal closing cost as well, right?
Your normal closing costs. Now, just for people out there to get a general idea and be safe, it's better to be safe than sorry. Everyone knows that. If you want to know what normal closing costs are, you can use the simple percentage of 2.25% times the purchase price. That gives you a very, very good estimate on the high side. It's more likely that it will be lower than that. But if you want worst case scenario and everything, if you use 2.25%, it gives you your worst case.
Okay. That's a really good rule of thumb kind of across the board with most loans, right? And so let's say, and I get this question often, so a lot of clients that are PCSing and they're coming maybe from Jacksonville and they own a property there. Can they use their VA again here in San Diego?
So that question it's a much bigger question. The answer is going to be a little more complex. depending on if you used 100% of your entitlement up to the maximum amount. So if someone, example, I'll make it simpler. If someone bought in San Diego, they more likely use their entitlement for 500,000 or up, which means they more than likely use the 0% option and they used all the entitlement, which means then you can't have two VA loans at once. But if you bought a house in, let's say, Georgia, and the house was much smaller, like you did 175,000 and you used a partial amount of your VA, you can then take the remaining balance and roll it over and buy in San Diego. It's not going to give you the 100% option, but it gives you more usage to come in with less money down.
Okay.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
So there are other times when someone goes, I heard my friend got two VA loans at once, 100%. That could be true. If he or she served during wartime duty, they can get it fully re-upped and use it again. Or if they were in certain sorts of job classifications in the military, certain branches, certain titles. Much harder to get those. Very less than 1% of people will be part of that group, but they're in more elite category.
And do the documents just implode after closing? It's thanks special ops, and now you've got your house, and now all the loan docs have magically disappeared.
You do go through some interesting paperwork when it's a non-disclosure, don't disclose what I do, which I don't blame them. But then again, you know what? Me and you, Genie, we have the wonderful freedom of America because of what those guys and gals do. It's girls and guys that do both that work,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, VA is near and dear to my heart. My dad served in Vietnam. Two of my brothers, one was in Gulf War, the other one was a Marine, and my grandfather was also in the Navy. So I know it very well. Not just the VA product, but the military personality, the family dynamic. Luckily, we never had to really move, but just the climate of it. Actually, my brother is a DOD. And lives on base or works on base in Germany. And he has for most of my life. So visiting bases and, going to commissary and all that kind of stuff. But I'm very fortunate to serve that community. And I think VA is an incredible, incredible resource. And it really affords those families a way to buy, because they deserve it.
Absolutely. It's a great way for you and I to be able to give back to people that give us our freedoms and to do the very best that you can. Like VA is one of the best loans in the business. And we're blessed to be able to help people and do that.
Yeah. And as agents, especially in a place like San Diego, it's awful when you write an offer and you call the listing agent and they're like, is your client VA? We don't want to work with VA. And just the misconceptions of it's a more difficult loan or the appraisal's tougher or, it's just not as guaranteed. I mean, I always think of it, it's a slam dunk. I'm always happy when the buyer's VA, unless of course the house I know is like riddled with termites. But for the most part, I always tell my sellers, why wouldn't you take this government backed secured loan that is ready to go? And, it's a good way to thank them. Absolutely. So one question that I know everyone is asking me almost on the daily is, what are rates like, and is it a good time to use a VA?
So, wow, that's a really hard question. Actually, it's not. So historically, right now, rates are at all-time lows. I've been in the business 17 years. I've never seen rates this low. If you go to that brand new website, it's called Google, and you Google interest rates, VA is at like 2.625%.
Wow.
I have to say this, APR 2.75, because by law I have to say that. But when was the last time you were able to buy the biggest wealth builder in your life for 2.625%?
Right.
There is none.
Yeah.
I hope that kind of helps.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's wild. And any person I know that is VA and hasn't used their benefit, I'm like, rates are crazy.
It is crazy. And you mentioned something a little bit ago about the VA appraisal and how things come in line, and it's harder. And a lot of agents don't realize this, that the VA appraisal and the VA loan in itself protects the veteran so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crucial. And at the same time, we're in this to be honest with everyone. Nobody wants to overpay, and nobody wants to be taken advantage of. So the VA actually enables you to take better care of the veteran, have a more honest appraisal. Is it a little bit harder? Yes, but that's for the protection of the veteran.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it is. And the VA loan itself provides so many other protections to help the buyer.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, anything else that you want to add? I know we had talked earlier in the week about a specific client. And so let's just do a quick scenario. What does a mortgage, and we'll have this in some slides and info in our link, but what is just like a quick scenario on a purchase here in San Diego, payment wise?
So if you looked at purchases here in San Diego, let's take an average house, $550,000, which is a great starter home to get into with no money down. You're looking at $2,948 a month, nice. Which is pretty much almost the same as renting.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and like BAH is pretty much, probably about $3,400 or $3,000 anyway. So, okay.
Correct. And then just to compare that to FHA. So if you did an FHA loan and you brought in 3.5% on the same loan amount, $550,000, you look at the full payment, it's $3,276. Mm. So it's a couple $100 difference because the VA loan has no mortgage insurance.
Okay.
That is so crucial. Other loans all have mortgage insurance.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, so basically everybody, unless they're putting 20% or higher down, have to pay mortgage insurance, right?
That is correct. You can buy the mortgage insurance out. Like a savvy lender will sometimes give you the option to buy it out. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, people who are buying homes with 5% down aren't sitting on an extra 10, 15 grand to buy the MI out.
Right.
And so they always have mortgage insurance. And the VA loan has no mortgage insurance. FHA loan, very expensive mortgage insurance.
Okay. Good to know. Well, thank you for taking time out today to chat with us about VA, also with David and any lender that we're doing this series with. We are offering our clients that book a one-on-one buyer consult, and obviously we get into escrow with a closing cost credit for appraisal. So if you have any questions about that or want to book a one-on-one buyer consult, just to ask some more questions, talk about the current market, and maybe you've seen a property online that you want to get some info on, feel free to reach out to us. David, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And we'll be in touch, and enjoy you guys this Sunday. Have a good one.
As well. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.